What is up, guys? We are back, back with a new video. Today we're going to be talking about a new play, but before we get into it, I hope you guys enjoyed the last video. MLSS, really nice back-to-back winner. Actually, it's still going back up, still going up now even today. So we had a nice 50% move here, actually double 50% move, and now I re-alerted that, I was adding back in those dips, and we're, already up 30% here from those 26s or even 27 ads, up 25-30% on those again. And I still like MLSS, but I think my job is done with this one. So we're going to move on to the next one. So today we're going to be talking about the ticker INEO. I'm going to tell you guys a few reasons why I like INEO and, why I think that this can make such a big move, even in this slow market that we have, because the market's really slow, guys. It's just the truth. I think it'll pick up soon, but, we're doing our best while the market's slow and trying to make the best out of it. So INEO, so a couple things about it. So it's a low float Singapore. You're looking at, it's a sub 2 mil float. So you're talking like a 1.9 mil float, which is really low. They're not diluting at all. They have 40 months of cash, no dilution filings, which is really clean. But the thing I like about INEO is a few things. So one of the things that I like about is that if you look, so INEO, I'll pull up the chart for you. So INEO, if you look at it, INEO is exactly what I mentioned I want in a ticker, which is history of spikes, right? So if you look, like the same thing we talked about with FMFCs, I talk about this for a lot of tickers, right, guys? I always talk about ATM type tickers. They're my favorite type of tickers to trade because you can buy, sell on pops, buy the dips, sell on pops, but over and over again. It's very easy to gain confidence and grow your account when you have a ticker so reliable at making moves. So you look back to even last year, basically almost exactly a year from today, you can see all the moves INEO has had, right? So you see huge spike here, huge spike here, spike, all these spikes, right? Like 10 times or so since then. So it's making a move once a month on its own, organically. Maybe people pump them, whatever the case is. But on its own, it's making a history move. So one of the things that tells me is that the market likes to come back to this ticker. Whoever it is, whether it's algos or groups or whoever it is, at the end of the day, this is a ticker that the market likes. You can tell because it has such a history of making these big moves, right? It's the same thing that FMFC had. The only difference with FMFC is that we made all the moves. The problem with INEO was that they always had a reverse split approved. That was the biggest issue with me for it, and that's why I've never really alerted it, because I don't want anyone to get screwed or whatever the case is. But if you look at their past filings, right, if you look at this past, when the shareholder vote, it says that the company approved the share consolidation, which is a reverse split, and the board has in its sole discretion to make it effective within 180 days of passing this vote. So what does that mean? What that means is that they have 180 days from this August 25th to use to use the reverse split, right? Well, they never did. So now that reverse split vote is expired. So this is basically voided out. It's null and void. So you can see, one, because they've already have voted on it before, but also because if you look at, like I always talk about, guys, you just do a quick look at the financials. It tells you right here, their incorporation, Cayman Islands. What do I always tell you about Cayman Islands? They need to vote, and they need to give advance warning of a vote to do a reverse split. So that means that we're perfectly safe from reverse split. They would, even if they wanted to do one, they would have to host another general meeting, and they have to give you warning like they did here. So if you look at the first filing, it tells you notice of annual general meeting, and it lets you know that it's going to be held on August 25th. This was posted on the 6th, so that was like 3 weeks beforehand. So there's no worries about like waking up the next morning getting hit with a reverse split, which is what we don't want. So we're safe from that. And then in compliance-wise, if you look, they are compliant until June, but this was their first minimum bid finally. So they're actually they're eligible for another 180 days even after this. Now again, they could, you know, anything could change, but there is the possibility that this has compliance until the end of June, and this is a ticker that we could be reusing over and over and over again for the months to come, and make a ton of money on it, guys. I mean, FMFC, you know, how many times have we made money on FMFC? FMFC is one of my biggest gainers, actually is my biggest gainer all year, because we've hit all those spikes, right? Like all these spikes for months. 50%, 50%, 60, 50, 60, 70, you know, all these spikes over and over and over again. Now it came back down. I think it got a little bit heavy, but I still like FMFC. I actually added started adding a few here at like 34, 35, and this will have another run again. You know, it's just a matter of, you know, what day. The reason I haven't talked about it so much is because it got heavy, and I just didn't want to keep pumping it because it clearly wasn't ready to run yet. But that doesn't mean it's not going to run again. We're in that demand zone here. But anyway, INEO, if you look at all these past hits, like look at all these runs. This is the stuff that I like to see. Okay? So let's talk into the plan. Let's dive into the chart. So if you look back, the chart, we had a nice big green candle here is when I originally posted it, right at 54. And we're just flagging on this daily, guys. It's really hard to get shares because they're not diluting at all. It's really hard. You can also see the difference is it's not just spiking and dropping, spiking and dropping. It's actually starting to go and build, which is really nice to see. That means that the people that are buying are holding. But let's look at some levels. So this is my plan personally. So you have huge support around this 45 range, right? Like if you look at the weekly, you have big support around this like 45 to 47 range, like that. I don't personally own any shares there or anything like that, but I couldn't even get any shares below 50. But it looks like that's kind of your bottom on the daily here, this 45. I don't think it's going back to there, but your next level of support is right around these low 50s. So I would say like 52 to 53. You could even say like 57, maybe a short-term support. You could see this was resistance here, and now it's starting to build above that. So like your first dip buy, if you're scaling in, could be 57. It looks like I really want this to hold that support and build above to start to curl up like this. Ideally, we curl up and just go like that. But then let's look at resistances. So you have resistance here at 65, which we're actually starting to break through today. You have these wicks here at 75. 73 to 75. I like just rounding up. It's really like 74, but let's just say 75. This is the 4-hour chart. Then you got room to here, like 88 to 90. After that, I mean, you're talking, of course, you always have resistance at $1. It's a psychological resistance, but chart-wise, I mean, this thing starts to open up into like 120. I mean, you look at this resistance here around 120. You see how it popped a few times there and rejected off. But I just feel like this is something, you see how it trades on no volume, right? Like some days it's trading literally 10K shares a day. You're talking no money at all. So I think that this is one that if it gets eyes and it gets volume and starts to build, this could give us a really nice big run, or even multiple runs. Again, this isn't financial advice. I don't know, I can't control what the company does. I can't control what news they put out. I can't control what the stock does, how much volume it gets, or anything like that. I'm just telling you my personal plan. This is a swing for me. I think that we can get at least, personally, I think we can get at least 75. I would love to see, but really, I really would love to see these 90s. I mean, to be honest, 75, it's resistance, but it's a nice move. You're talking 54 to 75 is a 30% move, but I really am looking for a bigger move than that. I really would love to see mid 80s to 90. I think that it for sure can do it. It has multiple times, and I think that this is something that a lot of people will start to come to. I mean, listen, even in a slow market, the reason I like these is because a lot of these, so right now a lot of these Singapores are running, right? You have RPGL, that's a Singapore. This went pretty big, right? This went, from 50 cents to $1.30, then went again from 45 to over $1. You have PMAC that had news today that spiked huge. That went from 60 to $2.30. You have FCHL, which is obviously back down. It's a terrible ticker, but it is also Singapore, and this went from 30 to 120. So you're getting a lot of these Singapores that are running, and I just think that INEO is the best one. It's the lowest float by far out of all of them. There's no dilution, there's no compliance issues, there's no reverse split worries. It's just a matter of volume. So I will be adding dips if this come down, even like mid 50s. I'll add dips. If it runs huge, then comes back down. Of course, you want to take profits. You don't need to rush back in. But I definitely think INEO is posed for a big run. I mean, it's building really nice. It's flagging really, really well. You look at this weekly, and it's starting to build above these moving averages. It's the 75 that's a big spot, and then after that, you're free to low 80s to high 80s. I mean, you may have some resistance here around 82, 83. But if the day comes where we ever break this 90, I mean, this thing is going to absolutely rip. I mean, if you look at the chart, it has crazy room. And if you look at the volume, I mean, it comes down if you look at the top of the screen over here, you look at the volume that's come down on it, you're talking, it's 5K shares, 5K shares, 20K shares. It's no volume it's coming down on. So it's down from 80s on really no volume at all. It's just a lot of people, I think, forgot about it or don't know about it. So that's why I wanted to just bring it up and let you guys know about it. So INEO, this is probably my favorite play right now. Obviously, MLSS, I'm still in, and I still like it. But MLSS says I've done its job already. I think this one is definitely posed for a big run. But again, this isn't financial advice, and you guys always have to have your own plan. Never risk more than what you could afford to lose. If you want to talk to me, if you want to see my calls and see everything that I post, I am in Moon Market Discord. Follow me on Twitter. Everything's in the bio. And reach out at any time if you guys have questions. I usually always try to answer you guys when you guys do reach out. I like interacting with you guys. So if you ever have any questions, just reach out, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.